Good morning. It is time for some joyful joints. We are live here on Tuesday morning, every Tuesday morning, unless there's travel and snowstorms. But we always give you a class. So every single week there's a new joyful joints class, and you can almost always find us live on Tuesdays. It's 11:30 Eastern time. So we say hello to those of you who are here joining us live today. Welcome, welcome from whatever time zone that may be. And we also say welcome to those of you who are joining us by way of using your finger and pressing the play button at any time during the week, day or night. You can join us here to do some lovely joyful joints. We're in month 4 of our YouTube live sessions, and today, this month 4 has been all about dancing through life. Dancing and letting things go a little bit. There's a time when we need to be very structured and very disciplined, and then there's a time to take the fruits of that discipline and let them be a little more free to see what we can do creatively. And that is a lovely balance to have. It is a balance that throughout my dance career, I really prefer the very disciplined and tell me exactly what to do, and I'm going to try to do it. And I have struggled over the years to just let go and be free and let things go. So if you are subscribing to our newsletter through Pranabar, you'll get to hear a little bit more of that story of Paula the Wallflower. But for today, we're just going to do some dancing and do some disciplined, but also fun joint interactions. We danced the first month with the lower part of our body. We danced the second week with the upper part of our body. Today, we're going to connect them and see what we can do about integrating all of these components so that our joints can be healthier just because we're being playful and free and creative in it. So our check and recheck, our assess and recheck is going to actually be the Hokey Pokey dance. Now, you might choose to do that seated, or you might choose to stand up. And I'm going to give you some options on how to load up the Hokey Pokey. So how many of you remember doing the Hokey Pokey at some point in your life? All right. I don't know if it's done so much anymore, but it sure is fun. So let's just play with putting our right foot in, however that works for you. And then put your right foot out. And then you put your right foot in and you shake it all about. Now, that standing and shaking one foot, you might notice like, whoa, I'm really wobbly. I want you to notice how your body is responding to the Hokey Pokey. Is it easy to put your foot in and your foot out? Is it easy to shake it about? If so, try the other side. You put it in, you put it out, you put it in, and you shake it about. Now, if you're like, dude, it's the Hokey Pokey, it's so easy. I'm going to encourage you. This is how far we can take this. Let's bring in all of our ballerinas. And if you're not a ballerina, you can play along. And I'd like for you to bring your arms in front of you. Let's touch our toe to our knee. And then from that point, take your right foot in. Oh, so now it's up off the ground. It's a little harder. And then touch your knee again. Now take your right foot out. And maybe the arms come out at the same time. So this is what we call in ballet class our arabesque. And then it's in. Then we take our right foot in again. And now to shake it all about, whoa, I'm going to fall over. I'm going to try to circle my whole leg. Okay, so there's where my balance starts to fall apart when my leg is lifted and I'm trying to circle it. At what level does your balance fall apart? You can notice something. That's going to be a recheck. Okay? Now, what do we do after we put our foot in and shake it all about? We do the Hokey Pokey and we turn ourselves around. Let's do it. Awesome. Now, for some of us, just to simply stand and turn around might make us feel a little dizzy. Some of us who are seated, your turnaround might look something like this. Just kind of circling your body around and letting your eyes go around the room. For some people, that is going to make you very dizzy feeling, right? We're used to being really focused, okay? So that could be a turn yourself about. And for my ballerina types, or those who really want to just try something new, what if we touch that toe to our knee again? We have our arms out in front of us, and we try this promenade thing, where I'm moving my heel around the ball of my foot. Okay, that went better than expected. That might be the first promenade that I've done in like a decade. So, but I could tell at the end it was really challenging for my leg to do that. It was very challenging for it to support and to make the rotation. So what level is your hokey pokey? Now let's get to dancing. Dancing with different body parts, and we're going to be creative and have a flow to this class today. So we're going to begin. We know toe taps. So you're sitting up, I'll turn a little diagonally so you can see better. Slide your right foot forward so your heel is next to the toes of the other foot, and we begin tapping our toes. So we know this exercise, right? Cool. Today, I would like for you to add your head turning from side to side at the same time that your toe is tapping. Two body parts that are very far away from each other, working together in tandem. There we go. Congratulations to our winner of our contest last week. It was, who knows what movie the line was from. And actually, there's another line from that same movie that says, dreams the way we planned them if we work in tandem. Another line from the movie. Let's change feet and let's do it again. So your foot is tapping, the heel stays on the floor, and then our head begins to move from side to side. Now, what kind of rhythm are you playing here? Are you doing 2 taps with each head turn? Do you want to slow down your foot and do a tap with each head turn? What if you did 3 taps with each head turn? What if they're not connected at all in rhythm? Well, then we would look kind of funny on the dance floor. We'd be that person out there not really going to the beat, right? And the song YMCA just came on in my head, so I'm going to go ahead and dance to that. Awesome. There's one way we can do it. Let's put our right foot back forward again. And this time we're going to tap our foot. It rotates in and then out. Tap your toes inward and then outward. Now, ideally, let's remind ourselves, I'm going to keep my thighs still. This is a function of my ankle tapping in and out. Go back to some of the foot classes if you want to do that better. But for right now, toes in, toes out. While our toe is tapping in and out, let's go back and add the head moving up and down. So I'm going to go ahead and tap one toe tap with my head. And then I think I'm going to try to do double toe taps. 2 toe taps for each movement of the head. Fascinating. How are you doing out there? Are you able to connect those somehow, or does it feel really weird? When your head starts going, does your foot forget how to go from side to side? Maybe. Switch. Are you having a good time with it? That's all that matters. Here we go. The left foot now is tapping in and out. Tap the toes, they turn in, and then they turn out. My thigh bone is standing still. There we go. While my foot is tapping. Now we add the head going up and down. Let's do like we did the other side. So 1 head movement for each toe tap. Okay, I think I got that. Now I'm going to double toe tap for each movement of the head. Kind of fun. Dancing. Think about a song. Is there a song that comes to mind as you're playing along? There you go. Wonderful. Okay, that was a lot. Very, very good. Let's go ahead and connect now our ankles in our hand, our feet in our hands next. So let's begin by sliding your right foot back now. Slide that right foot back. We're going to keep the ball of our foot down. The heel goes up and down. If you remember something about this exercise, it's to keep the ball of the foot planted. We're trying to keep the ball of our foot down, which means our toe knuckles have to bend. There you go. Our toe knuckles have to bend. And I'd also like you to keep equal pressure. As your heel goes up and down, keep the pressure really even across the ball of the foot. In other words, don't let it get lighter and heavier on the ball of your foot. Okay, so once that happens, let's take our opposite hand. This is my right foot, this is my left hand. And when my heel goes up, I'm gonna tip my hand down. When my heel goes down, I'm gonna tip my hand up. Let's see if we can coordinate that. This is a straight arm. And just like I'm trying to move from the ankle here, I wanna move from the wrist here. There we go, super. Now, let's have that foot come off the ground. Maybe you hold your leg up using your hand, and let's circle the hand and the foot simultaneously. Can they reach the different points of the circle? Now, just notice, did you have your hand and foot go in opposite directions or same? Reverse them both. If you went the same, then just reverse them both. If you're doing opposite, reverse them both. Okay, now, if you were doing opposites, I want you to have your circles go the same direction. If you were going same direction, try to have them go opposite. Woo! I don't know about you guys, my wrist is getting tired. Reverse. My forearm muscles, the ones that pull my fingers back, are kind of tired, and I'm having a hard time picking up my fingers. Oh boy. Okay, good. Shake that out, dance that out. Let's do the other side, shall we? Slide your left foot back. Begin with the heel going up and down. Very good. Let me spin to the other side for you. Oh, there you go. Heel's going up and down. The ball of my foot is staying on the floor. Well, it's trying. Good. This is one of this body's challenges is the knuckles of the big toe are less than excited to bend naturally. That's a long lifetime of different contributing factors sped up by the lifetime of dancing and all the things. But it wasn't dancing's fault. It was the fault of this body that didn't have that strong of a foot in a pelvic floor cord connection. That's just how I was made. So that's why I can come to you now and try to overcome this. Okay, let's add our hand. Our hand. As the heel comes up, my fingers go up, heel down, fingers down. Good. So we're dancing with our ankle and our wrist, connecting the ball of that foot to the ground. Good. So sometimes I tell you about my things because I'd like for you to follow along with the process of, okay, that's how it is. Yeah, that's how we got here. That was the path that got us here. If I understand the path that got me here, I can slowly undo the damage. I can do the opposite of what got me into a damaged place, and I can move myself back toward a healthier place, okay? But sometimes we don't have the courage, perhaps. It's a little scary to admit that, oh gosh, maybe something I did caused this. That's actually a good thing because it means you can do something about it. If it was nothing you did and it just came out of the blue and it was mysterious, you're lost and you're stuck with it because we don't know how to undo that, right? We don't know how to reverse something we didn't do. All right, here we go. So circling the ankle and the wrist. Beautiful. So this is one of the things I hope you're getting out of Joyful Joints practice with us. It's just being more open and honest and realistic and non-judgmental about the exact state you're in. Reverse the circle. And, oh, I'm having trouble reversing my foot and my hand. There we go. So I'm doing opposites. I think that I can't tell you the story because I'm losing track of how to move my wrist and my ankle. So we'll just do the work, okay? Awesome. And let's do now together. So I did opposites. Now I'm going in the same direction. Trying to keep my elbows straight. I'm noticing on the TV that my elbow is having a desire to bend. So let's reverse. Good. If you were doing same directions before, you should be doing opposite now. If you have to pause and try to figure that out, so be it. All right, and shake that all out. Woo! Let's do one more hand and foot exercise before we stand up and reassess our Hokey Pokey, shall we? And this one is going to be flexing our hands while curling your toes. So my palms are open as wide as they can be. My feet are trying to curl into fists. And then switch. I'm going to open the bottoms of my feet and I'm going to squeeze my fists really tight. Now you could do this, I guess, with our elbows a little softer. Make that a little more comfortable. Okay, squeeze your feet, open the hands. Close your hands, open the feet. There you go. And then you can start to take that to, now I know it looks like I'm just curling my toes over down there. I'm really trying to activate, I squeeze into the palm of my hand. I want to find that. I want to try to do that in my feet as well. So in the very sole of my foot, I'm trying to, close that. Okay. Now, what if we got super fancy? Close one foot, open the other, and then do the opposite with your hands. Okay? Now change them all. And change. Good. Change. Change. Can you send your brain to have attention to 4 different places at once? That's pretty cool if you can. That's awesome. All right, shake those out. Let's go ahead and stand and do our first reassess of the day. So we're doing the Hokey Pokey on whatever level that we found that to be challenging. So you put your foot in, you put your foot out, you put your foot in, and you shake it all about. How did that feel to you? Ballerina's ready. Touch your toe to your knee. You put your foot in, and you put your foot out. Open your tip over a little bit maybe. And then you put your foot in. And this is where I actually don't think I did this leg. You circle it all about. Very good. And then we did the turn yourself around. How's that feel? Maybe after you spin around, you don't get quite as wobbly this time. That would be a positive reassessment. And for our ballerinas, I'm also going to do this one on the opposite leg. So broke the rule of checking and rechecking because I switched legs, but I feel pretty good. All right, so give yourself a pat on the back if that felt better. If it didn't feel better, it might mean that your brain really had to struggle to connect more than one body part, And I'd like for you to think about that for a second. What does that mean? If we had a negative reassessment, our brain was having trouble making more than one thing happen at a time. Can you think about how many things at a time does our brain have to worry about just to simply stand up and walk across the room? There's an awful lot of body parts involved in that. There's an awful lot of coordination. It's a big dance to just stand and walk across the room. So if doing something that coordinated causes your nervous system to have a diminished ability to function, then I really strongly encourage you, keep going back to month 1 of Joyful Joints and then month 2, and just repeat and repeat and repeat the very lightest movements that you possibly can, and then come back and see how you're doing in a few months, okay? All right, next we're going to do our elbows and our knees. So let's just quickly, it's kind of just like almost dropping. I want the elbow to feel very loose as we just kind of stretch it out and then kick out the opposite leg. And 1 and 2, try to stay sitting up really tall. 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Let's do the other side. There goes my elbow. So I'm trying just to be very relaxed in it, not hold tension. I'm not pumping my iron. I'm just relaxing my elbow. And then my opposite knee. Trying to do the same thing. Trying to create looseness in the elbow and the knee. Very good. And this would get us, if we wanted to dance like the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz. He was very, very loose in his elbows and knees and had a dance that looked something like that, right? Do you know people like that in your life? Maybe. Yeah. Then we have other people who are like the Tin Man, and their joints are so stiff that their movement doesn't look quite as fluid. And what are we looking for is something in the middle of that. Let's go ahead and stand so we can do a hip and a shoulder exercise together. Now, you're probably going to want to have a nice support here, so something to balance with. Let's utilize our opposite leg. So I've got my right hand on the chair. My left leg is going to slide forward. We've done these hip circles before. Okay, so we're circling our leg from where it meets the body. Great. Now that that's going, touch your shoulder and have your elbow join in the circles. And those may go together. They may go in opposition. They may reverse. But let's see if we can stand tall. If you'd like to check your balance, take your hand off of there for a moment. See how it's going. Very good. All right, so either turn around or move your chair to the other side. Here we go. Left hand is on, balancing me, helping me support. My right leg slides forward and it begins circling right from where that leg meets the body. Beautiful. And then from here, touch your shoulder and move that arm around with the leg. Good. They don't have to go exactly at the same time. Mine seem to go about 180 degrees out of phase. I don't actually know what they're doing, and then let's reverse them. Sometimes they're together, sometimes they're not. Interesting. Good. I think that's what happens when my brain gets involved. There we go. When my brain isn't involved, they like to do opposites. When my brain starts thinking, they like to stay together. Wonder what that means. Anybody? You guys can send in some theories. Why does that happen? All right, so that's shoulders with hips. Now, the last thing we're going to work on, let's go ahead and sit down again. So we were kind of working. Did you notice we kind of work from the periphery of our body and we're coming in closer to the center. So we've just made it to our torso with the shoulder and the hip. So let's begin to integrate through our spine. And we're going to do really what we call some body waves or some spinal waves today. And I want you to be very gentle. Reminder, joyful joints, never above a level 3 out of 10 intensity. No matter what I throw at you, calm down and just do it to the level that doesn't feel like you're forcing anything. So I'd like you to place your hands on your lap. And what we're going to do is we're going to gently lean back. And we're going to kind of dive down as if you're diving into the water. And then we're going to send our nose forward and up as if you're coming out of the water. So as you go back, we curve down. Please don't force this. And as a matter of fact, if you could think about something, I want you to think about keeping your spine really long. Sometimes we have a tendency to really collapse in order to make our spine round, and that's not really very good for us. So try to stay very long as you create these curves. Yes. Try to imagine maybe you're like a marionette doll and you're being held up by the ceiling and you're not going to be allowed to collapse way down. Okay? Good. So that gets our body moving a little. Now, what if that reversed? What if we lift our nose up to go forward? And then as we come back, we come through that curvy space. Lift your heart and your nose up. And then round it back. Now my hips are active. My hips are helping. In fact, they're kind of the engine. I put my hands here so you can kind of see. It's almost like I've got a wheel on each side of my hips. And those wheels are kind of rolling. Can you see them moving? Forward. Let's do one more. And backward. Now, no matter how confusing or awkward this may feel, I want you to try it. I want you to try it. Why? But why? It feels so weird. Well, because it tells us something about, our spine is made up of, 26, 27 vertebrae. Different building blocks. And in order to create a smooth curve, each one of those blocks needs to know how to cooperate and coordinate and go with the other ones in the proper order. So when we feel stuck and awkward, it's just a really good signal for us. It's more information. It's a clue that our spine maybe isn't being talked to. Maybe it's like only feels like there's 3 blocks. Could you imagine if your body was only like in 3 blocks trying to make that movement? Wouldn't that feel awkward? Yeah, you need more blocks in order to make a smoother movement. Now let's do the same thing to the sides, okay? The same thing to the sides. And if you recall, we've done the side tipping with our head. And what we're gonna do today, let's just even imagine, we're gonna get pulled to one side, and then we're gonna get pulled to the other. Pull to one side, pull to the other. Now that string or the pulling thing is going to be attached right to the middle, the bottom of our rib cage. And just what would it feel like if something grabbed a hold of you right there and pulled you? Can you relax and just play with this a little bit? There you go. So it's like seaweed. And can your head and neck relax and just kind of go with the flow? There you go. Nice. And I know this might feel really awkward, but it doesn't matter. You are here exploring and creating and learning about the sides of your body and what they're capable of or what they feel odd doing. And so we're going to be able to connect our brain. So now it's my vertebrae that are doing this, but also my ribs are becoming involved, okay? Oh, how nice did that feel? I feel so much more relaxed. And then we can do some twisties. Finish up with some twisties. So I'm kind of adding a shoulder lift and turn. Yeah. Just imagine, what if you were on the dance floor and that's all you did? Was just a little bit of a lift and a turn. Yeah, we look good. We look like we're having a good time. And oh, by the way, we're shining our heart light all over the place when we do something like this. Yes, those of you who've been around me a little bit longer, we talk about not getting that heart light stuck, but underneath a skeleton that's stuck, right? We want to open that up so that our heart light can shine all around the world. I think that's a song. All right, go ahead and stand. Let's do a final reassess of our Hokey Pokey. So yeah, put your right foot in, whatever way that works for you, and you put your right foot out. Cool. And then you put that right foot in, and you shake it all about. And this is the one I couldn't do before. Yay! Okay, so I got thumbs up. What did you get so far? Then we do the Hokey Pokey, and we turn ourselves around. Are you ready? Get set, go. We do the Hokey Pokey. And we turn ourselves around. Yes. And that's what it's all about. Yahoo! Fantastic. Oh, that was super fun. So I'd like for you guys to think about, just ponder on dance. If you're working on, maybe you want to have do you have a dedicated Joyful Joints journal yet? Do you have something that's dedicated to just making notes of what happens from class from day to day without even analyzing it? Just objectively writing down what happened. Because here's one thing that's true. Your physical body, when it feels good, when you feel good in your skin, it's a natural response to start dancing, especially when you see other people, right? Look at little kids. What does a little kid do when somebody comes through the door and they are so excited? They start dancing in whatever way feels good to them, right? Yeah. So why and when do we stop that? It's just as we start to layer on things that are uncomfortable. That's all. And if we had better tools from an earlier age, or if we're in this aging process and we've been on the planet for a pretty long time, we can use those tools to peel back some of those layers of discomfort and get us back to dancing, because then dancing in itself becomes a healing space. It becomes a space of connecting with others. It becomes a space of expression, not holding back. So lots of things that can happen as we're dancing through this life. And I hope you guys had a great time today. I certainly did. Reminder, next week, we get on the floor. So next week is the fourth and final Tuesday of this month. So we will be lying supine and figuring out how to dance from that position. All right. We look forward to seeing you again. If you haven't already, please visit us at pranavar.org. There's so many things that we can do to help you recover this joy of movement, this joy of dancing. And I'm so happy. Thank you for the likes out there. Tell your friends, get subscribed, and we are just going to have a party every week. All right, see you guys next week.